Thank you, everybody.
All right. Peyton. So our next speaker is Payton Spearin. She's from East Millinocket, just graduated high school, and is Peyton, is this your third year in the BYCC? Yep. So 3-year veteran also of the BYCC. So take it away, Peyton.
My screen good?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, as Aaron said, my name is Peyton. I'm from East Millinocket, and this is my 3rd year doing the BYCC. And I just graduated from Skank High School. So this summer, I decided to do my project on aquatic entomology. Aquatic entomology is the study of insects that live in the water for part of their lives or all of their lives. Most people, when they heard that I was doing bugs for my project, were confused as why I would choose that. So I chose it because of my love of fishing. And as a fly fisherman, it's important to know what the fish are eating, when they're eating it, and how to match the hatch. So I figured what better time to learn about flies than this summer. With over 50 ponds and lakes and many miles of streams to choose from to study in the park, I ended up choosing 5 different ponds and streams. Upon visiting these different waters, I was able to find, photograph, and identify 13 different aquatic insects in both nymph and adult stages. So this will go to the next page. So my first insect was the Mayfly. There's over 600 species in just North America, and mayflies are one of the most popular flies that fishermen use. Their life occurs in 3 stages, which is the egg, the nymph, and the adult. They're usually found in the mud, but any mayfly is a sign of clean and unpolluted water, which I thought was kind of weird how it was complete opposites of what you'd think. The emerger stage is most popular among fishermen because of the large swarms of emerging mayflies that provide the fish with a feeding frenzy. Key identifiers when looking for mayflies are that they always have 3 tails and 1 claw on each foot. Some of the best flies to use to match a mayfly are a Hendrickson, a green drake, or a parachute Adams. So on the slide, I have a picture of a hex, which is one of the better known hatches that take place in the park. In the top corner, I have a question mark next to the primitive minnow mayfly because that is one of the hardest ones that we had to identify. I also have a roaring brook mayfly, which is currently only known to live in Roaring Brook in Baxter State Park. Knowledge of its life cycle is vague, and the fly is listed as endangered, but just because of the fact that it's possible that the insect could be only in 1 site in the world. Next, I have the Stonefly, which there are about 700 species in North America. Their life cycle also happens in 3 main stages: the eggs, nymphs, and adults. A stonefly egg takes about 3 to 4 months to hatch. For fishing, the nymph stage is most popular, and they're usually found on the bottom of their habitats in cool, clean, flowing water with high oxygen levels. Key identifiers are 2 claws and 2 tails versus the mayflies, which have 3 tails. The best flies to use would be elk hair caddis, a stimulator, and a hornberg. So I have posted a picture of a golden stonefly nymph that I found, and then a picture from the web of what an adult stonefly will look like. Next, I have the Caddisfly, which there are 20 different families in North America, and they play a key role in ecosystem connections. Caddisflies undergo complete metamorphosis, which means they have 4 main stages instead of 3, which is the egg, larva, pupa, and adult. They're found among rocks in clean moving water, but they can also be found in lakes and ponds. The larvae are found on the bottom of rocks and usually are encased in what looks like sand. The pupa and adult stages of caddisflies are fished. Most fishermen enjoy the adult stage as the pupa are molting into the adults on the surface, which provides the fish with an easy target meal. The best flies are deer hair caddis, elk hair caddis, or deep sparkle pupa, which I didn't find any in the park while I was doing my job, but I have seen them there before. So I just pulled some pictures from the internet. Next, I have the dragonfly. There's 8 different families in North America, and dragonflies are abundant in all 50 states. Dragonfly's life also has 3 stages: egg, nymph, and adult. As nymphs, dragonflies are one of the top predators in an aquatic environment, and they usually live near clumps of aquatic vegetation and can live in most any body of water. The dragonfly nymphs are popular to fish because they are found in most bodies of water, and they are a prime source of food for the trout. To identify a nymph, you want to look for 6 legs, large eyes, and a scoop-like lower jaw. Their bodies can either be round or long and slender. The best flies to use are an olive woolly-bugger, Kennebago muddler, and Kaufman's dragon. So I have posted pictures of 2 different types of nymphs, the darter, which is the round one, and then the long and slender one, which are skimmers. And then my last grouping is the damselfly. There are 4 different families of damselflies, and their life cycle occurs within 1 to 5 years, and again has 3 stages: the egg, nymph, and adult. All stages are found in or near aquatic environments and during the warmest months of the year. It's most common to fish the nymphs, but people also fish the adults, and they're popular to fish because you can fish them all summer. There's not like a specific month for them. To identify a nymph, you want to look for 6 legs and 3 gills, which are positioned as tails, as you can see in the picture. The best flies to use are a green damsel nymph, an olive woolly bugger, and a damsel wiggle nymph. And then I have listed all the ponds I went to and what bugs I was able to identify from each pond or stream. So from A-Ball Pond, I got a blue dasher dragonfly, an ebony jewel-winged damselfly, stonefly nymph, and dragonfly nymph. And all the photos were included in my keynote. Daisy Pond has the hex, which is their most popular hatch, and dragonfly nymphs. The Saudi Hunk stream had mainly stoneflies, but there was a few mayfly nymphs. A-Ball stream had net-winged midge larvae, golden stoneflies, and a quill Gordon E mayfly, which is one of the only mayflies that have 2 tails instead of 3. And then Kidney Pond had scud nymph and then the unidentified primitive minnow mayfly. Oops. And then this slide just has some pictures from my excursions through the park. So we came upon a loon nest and a moose, and some different birds and critters. And from completing this project, I've learned so much about a topic that is important to me, from the insect ID, habitat, and life cycle to learning how to use advanced field guides and working remotely. But there's a lot more to take away from this fellowship than just the knowledge that I learned. Because through the weeks, I made a lot of memories bringing friends and family into the park that had never been. And I have my citations. And the only fish that I caught throughout the 6 weeks.
Nice job, Peyton. Thanks so much. You did well to catch any brook trout this time of year. The water's so warm. It's usually a lot of chubs and everything. Yep. Good work. Anybody have any questions for Peyton? Michael.
Hey, I know you have a lot of expertise on the wildlife in the park. I know you spend a lot of time there. Where is the best spot to find moose, in your opinion, in the park?
I've seen the most moose at Sandy Stream Pond, which everyone says is the best. But I find that if you stay like right before dark is the best time. Like the moose picture I had, we were walking out and just told the ranger that we hadn't seen any moose, and then my mom looked up and it was standing right in front of us. So literally right before dark at like 7:30.
Awesome, thank you.
Nice. Sylvia.
I was wondering if you tie your own flies.
I do, and I actually have been selling them too. So.
Very cool. Yeah, that's great. Any other questions? How many people on this call fish in the park? Yeah, anybody? Yeah, right. Yeah, Greg, I know you do. Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, I see some other folks waving. Hey, Bill. Yeah, it's a really, you did really well, Peyton. It's a really technical subject. I saw some photos of some of the species that Peyton was trying to identify, and a graduate degree in about 3 years are helpful for some of those IDs. That's about what it takes sometimes to really be confident about it, and you did phenomenally well. Barbara.
Peyton, I've always been confused by the terms dragonfly and damselfly. They look very, I mean, did the dragonflies look like the damselflies, but that isn't what you showed us? So
the dragonflies have like a fatter body, and their wings are laid out horizontally. As for a damselfly, will have a skinnier body, and when they're not flying, their wings are close together on the top.
Oh, as easy as that. Oh, great. Thank you.
Sarah.
Yeah, I just found it fascinating that there was that one insect that's only found in Roaring Brook, the Roaring Brook Mayfly. Is that what you called it?
Yep.
That's
Yeah, I'd never heard of it until doing this project this year and talking to some of the rangers. They told me about it. So.
And it looks so unique.
Yeah, it looks way different than any of the other nymphs that I've looked at.
Does that inspire you to make some new flies that might mimic that?
Yeah, I could try.
Well, that would be a cool project. Well, thanks. It was really interesting.
Thank you.
Anne?
Yeah, I'm interested in what your process was for catching the bugs to identify them.
So thanks to Mr. Friel, he gave me a little kit for collecting them. It had some small little strainers. So wherever I would go, I would just like take a scoop in the water and see if there's anything, or like scoop through the mud, through the weeds. And then I had like a little dish, a white dish, so you can get good pictures and really be able to identify what the bugs are.
Okay, that's really cool. Thanks.
Jenny?
Hi. So we were at Daisy Pond recently, but in many places in the park in standing water, we saw these little black bugs that were skimming across the top of the water. Is that the skimmer phase that you're talking about? Or is that something else?
I'm thinking that's a different type of bug, and I didn't identify any, but I'm pretty sure that they're different from, like, say, a mayfly, a merger, or anything like that.
Okay, they were everywhere in standing water, and my guess is they'll only live about a day because you would see them disappear and a new crop would appear somewhere else.
Yeah, there's just a staggering amount of diversity out there. It's really, yeah, there's a lot there for sure. Any other questions for Peyton? If you tie a Roaring Brook Mayfly pattern, Peyton, I think you might be the first. I don't know if anyone's ever tried to imitate that before. That's yeah, it'd be cool to see whether the fish in Roaring Brook have that search image and know what they're looking for. All right, great job. Any other questions before we shift gears? All right, thanks so much. Thanks, Peyton. Wonderful work.